the speaker today, who I know is going to be doing some wonderful things, I'm going to read tomorrow's for you. It says, I imagine everything I choose to be. Dressing up on Halloween can be a great adventure. Choosing a character, finding a costume, and transforming yourself into a new identity, a superhero, a princess, a cowboy, or favorite animal, is all part of the fun. In the same way, my life is an adventure. I choose what I want to be and how I want to live in the world. I am so much more than my history, my choices, and my roles I play in life. I like Halloween costume. I can take it off. I can also change how I show up in the world, taking off limitation, self-doubt, and insecurity. I then claim my identity as a divine being, the living expression of God. This is my true identity, the enduring, changeless truth of who I am. And I know that we're going to learn more about that in a little bit. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit that is from God, so that we may understand the gift bestowed on us by God. This is 1 Corinthians 2, verse 12. Thank you, God. And thank you, Unity. Thank you, Daily Word.
Amen.
Amen. Now, our speaker today, oh wow, he's something else. I have his book at home. He's a love. He's an absolute love. Now, Arthur, we know, is a keynote speaker. We know this. And he's a husband and a father, an athlete. I think he's still running. I'm pretty sure he is. He's an equestrian. That means he's a horse rider. And he's an artist and an author. He's got a new book. Be sure and check it out. He's a one-of-a-kind philosopher. Right? When he speaks, everyone listens. Because he has a new way of looking at things that maybe we haven't thought of before. He has a way of inspiring and coming forth with everything. And I was reading in this book a little something about him that I hadn't thought about. He was the chief executive officer, chief cook and bottle washer at the Church of Christ Church Unity in El Cajon. He founded that, and he was there for 38 years. And I think he's still there in spirit and in heart. One of the things that I noticed was he has officiated at more than 4,000 weddings.
Wow.
And 1,500 memorial services and funerals. Those weddings must have really took, because that figures out to be, if I calculate this right, 2.66666% to 1 weddings to funerals. Those weddings did take, that's good. They didn't kill each other, only a few of them. So,
Hey, those are good numbers.
so our speaker today, I know we're going to love him. I know he's going to have something wonderful to say. He's going to talk to us about what is your costume. Please help me welcome Arthur Hammons, our guest speaker for today. Okay, it's all yours, my dear.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Mary Ann.
Yeah.
Now, is the volume good and everybody can hear?
Yes.
Okay. I'm so very grateful to get to be here, and I haven't been here in years because of the restrictions we've had to grow through. And I hope we did grow through them, and I hope they made us more aware of the power we have to understand the rules and obey them for many good reasons. And also I hope it has strengthened our endurance and our endeavor to be the Christ in every situation. And congratulations on surviving it the way you have. And we're at a new place now, and it's a new world. And what you have, and I'm with you on this, to believe as teachings of the inner Christ believers and students, now is the time to put that in gear. gear, you're not coasting. So we want to put that in gear. And I want to tell you some things today that you already know, but it's like a refresher course. And your heart and soul, the Christ in you, rallies in this knowledge. It loves to hear this truth about you. So as I share these ideas, it's a refresher course, but it's also a stimulus for your next steps, because it's time to take those steps now with everything being lifted and us being able to go back to normal, but to create a new normal. And then I have something to tell you that I don't think you know. And this is the latest news. And I'm sorry about this. I'm not in management, I'm in sales. But this is a management thing.
Okay.
The news is, this is breaking news. They have moved the light. They have moved the light. It is no longer at the end of the tunnel.
Oh my.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh no.
It is up several flights of stairs, and the staircase is spiral. So winding our way up to the light. And sometimes when people are partying, they go like this. They're just telling you how to get to the light. So now this is mine. This is all original with me. I didn't read this anyplace. I just realized they've moved the light, and it used to be at the end of the tunnel, and it kind of reflected off the train tracks or the path, whatever, and you could see it, and you could know that you could get there. Well, the same applies now. You can see it, and you know that you can get there, but you have to watch your step. You have to move and take steps up and elevate into the light. And you can do this. You've done it so many times, and you're good at it. And so it's just time to take another step. So let me tell you about these steps that are on the spiral staircase. The step that's attached to the pole in the middle of the staircase is very narrow, but then it expands way out and is bigger at the end than it is at the beginning. So if you're going up these stairs, evolving and moving up and choosing to grow, and you take the little steps, you have less surface to support your weight, and you have to but on the outside you may take several steps on that step. It may be that wide in order to get up to the next step. So some of the steps that your life has taken have been quick because you were near the center of the step. Other experiences that you have had that have helped you become who you are now took a long time. You were on that step for a while. And when you come to the end of a step and you're feeling like you're butting your head against a wall, reminds me, do you know what the fish said when it hit the concrete? Damn. So, but if you're hitting this wall, it's time to know. It's time, your language is, it's time for me to take the next step. It's time for me to muster up everything that it takes to get up to what's next. And by knowing that, then that puts you in gear to use the energy that it takes to get on that next step. If you don't choose to go to the next step because you know it's for your highest good and you know it's time and you've been on this step long enough, If you don't choose to go up to the next step, now I'm telling you, I'm in sales, I'm not in management, don't blame me. But if you don't choose to get up to the next step, you will be blasted up. Because life can't stand for you to stay stuck. And if it shows you the way, and if you don't take the way, it helps you. And how many times have you been blasted? Some of us still have gunpowder marks from this. How many times have you been blasted? So it's important to know that you can reach the next step and keep spiraling upward into a more awareness of who you are and how who you are can be utilized to make your life and your life story memorable, exciting, meaningful, profitable, and happy. So there are some things that you already know that I want to remind you of. They are part of the belief system for those in the teaching of the inner Christ, and this is my belief system, goes right along with yours, is that you make conscious contact with your divine nature. And you don't just make it here on Sunday mornings, but you make it constant every moment. Because if that's what's going on, if that's your story, then that's what the universe, God, you, the world around you, translates as your outfit. And then they treat you that way. Briefly, in speaking about, well, what's your costume? I was thinking, because tomorrow's going to be Halloween, that we'd be thinking about costumes, and you all look very cute today in your wigs and masks and paraphernalia. It's very, very cute and fun to play.
It is fun.
But oftentimes you see people acting out what they would wish for themselves, like your city slicker who dresses like a cowboy, or your really nice girl who dresses like a naughty angel. They're everywhere on Halloween, and people get to dress like what they'd like to be, and it's kind of fun. And then when it's not Halloween, the way we dress is very important. And the better we look, the better we are treated. And if you look at the people on the news, you see how they have a standard shirt and tie, pretty dress, hair, makeup. They look good because they're in the public eye. And it takes work, effort, energy, and expense to put on a little color and a little hairspray and an outfit. But if you're frumpy, you get frumpy service and you get frumpy treatment. If you're attractive and the Christ in you is shining through, you get better service, and you create a standard for other people to go, well, I should look nice, or why didn't I look nice, or put on some fragrance or something like that. I had an aunt, and she had a very special bottle of perfume that I think we could get a whiff of it at Christmas, and she was saving it. And then she died, and they took the perfume and so gave it to somebody in the family, you know. But she never used it. She just saved it. I did a memorial service one time, and the people got up to speak afterwards, and one guy said, I remember my mother and the woman that had passed away, and she would be in the kitchen, and they would read cookbooks, and ooh and ah and drool at 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of sugar, all these ingredients. And he said it was just so much fun to hear them reading about these ingredients and how long it took to prepare them. And he said, but they never cooked anything. They just read the books. They never cooked anything. And
Oh, man.
so, can you imagine that? So, it is important that you make conscious contact with your divine nature, and you can express how attractive you are and how you love yourself and looking your best by having your appearance be better than average. And go ahead, be prettier. Go ahead. Pretty does as pretty says. Have nice, lovely habits and conversation and vibration of good looking, putting yourself out so that you're creating more good by wherever you go. So that was what I wanted to say about what's your costume. And you know that the statistics of people getting hired or being sought after in the workplace, or being happy with their coworkers, or their coworkers happy with them, is oftentimes based on their appearance. And some could say, well, that's pretty shallow, you know, just because somebody is more attractive. You could say there's some people that are not very attractive, but they're really good at what they do, but people don't look at them because they're not as attractive as because the attractive one gets the attention. Well, then through loving that person and telling them that you believe in them, or having them discover love for themselves and believing in themselves, as you have discovered by knowing about the Christ within, that they could change. And we've all known Cinderella stories where somebody was less attractive, or had habits that were not attractive, or just had an esteem that wasn't lovely. And we've seen things happen to them, or we've seen people love them, and that awareness of who they were and what they could do with who they were changed, and they blossomed, and the Cinderella story became lovely and more productive and more attractive. So you already look really nice, masks and wigs and all. But you could even look better if you follow this guidance of having conscious contact with your divine nature. Now, what is your divine nature? Well, you are a spiritual being, and you are not a religious person. You are a spiritual person. You may have been a religious person, and thank goodness you were, because that got you to a place, and with a lot of love and some scary stories, that got you to a place where you could find the light of God, the Christ within you. And it is, you are an identical twin to the Christ in Jesus. And Jesus came and showed us not Jesus, but he showed us the Christ. And the Christ in Latin is Christos, and everyone knew him as the Anointed One. That's what that name means in Latin or Greek. Christos is the Christ. It means the Anointed One. And you are anointed. You are anointed with special gifts and powers and awareness and love and consciousness and ability. And when you tap into when you claim your inheritance, your awareness, your true identity that you are the Christ, then that activates all those skills, abilities, creativity, health, prosperity, consciousness. It revs everything up. So it is important that you make constant contact and then stay in contact and make that conscious contact permanent all the time. So that, getting out of your car, going into the grocery store. Here I come. I'm going to find the things I need. They're going to be at the right price. I'm going to see other people. They're going to see me. I'm going to send love to everybody that I meet. I'm going to especially send love to my cashier and thank them for the work and tell them I brought my bags and because I'm smart, and I'm going to leave, and this is going to be a wonderful experience instead of some old story that does not serve you. Oh, I've got to go to the store. I've got to find a place to park. Blah, 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 So, you're to understand that you are the Christ, and this is your divine nature, and claim that, and know that, and believe that. That is, I think, the most important thing that any of us can do. Then, you like to discover and fulfill your desires, and you are a great discoverer, and you are a great fulfiller, and you've had a lot of desires, and they've worked out in your life. Some of those desires you had were a cover-up for something better, and when something better happened, in spite of the desire and everything you put into it, some of those times you weren't that happy until you could adjust. Well, here I am. This is how it is. But some other of those desires that came because your original desire got swept away, you welcomed eagerly and said, oh boy, this is great, and I just thought I wanted this, but this is so much more. So, at this time, with the world as in the place that it is, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And you have to figure that out. And that would be a good question to ask yourself and to meditate on and to visualize and to sit in the silence and channel an answer. Because the Christ in you has the power to help you reach that place where whatever's next is for you. And the Christ in you is more than capable of communicating that to you if you give yourself a chance to listen to it. So it's important then that you say, well, what do I want? And what you want is not just one thing. Let's be greedy and just want a whole lot of things. That would be okay with Spirit, because Spirit is certainly capable of managing more than one desire at a time. I love the word desire because it comes from the Latin, and it's a group of two words, de and sire. Now, in equestrian speak or horse talk, the sire is the stallion and the father. And de comes from the Romance languages, and it's of thee. So desire is of the Father. And when you have a desire, it comes from God's Spirit within you, speaking through the Christ in you to say, this can be yours or something better. And then it has a little warning sign that says, watch out, because if you're just so focused on this and you're not open to or something better, you might miss what is something better. And how many of us have been fascinated with some person that we wanted, and just for a date or a lifetime, we wanted them, and they were our heart's desire, but they didn't materialize because there was someone better for us, much better. And maybe later we run into them and we find out, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful. My dream didn't come true. My wish wasn't answered. God had something better planned for me. Well, God still has something better planned for you right now that's better than all the other plans you've ever had and all the other dreams that have come true. They're good experience and proof of how powerful this Christ presence that you believe in is in you. So, and this has nothing to do with age, because the Christ doesn't know how old you are. I knew there was a lovely woman that came to church, and she was delightful and cute and fun, and on Sundays we'd have everybody stand up that had a birthday in that month, and she always stood up every Sunday that we did that. And I asked her one time, you always stand up. Is this because you're seeing this as a time in your life where you're born anew, you know? And she said, no. She said, I was born in the South, and they didn't have records, and so I do not know how old I am. I do not know what my date of birth is. And so, since I don't know what zodiac I am or anything, I just take it all. So, what if you didn't know how old you are? And because Spirit doesn't keep a record of limits or age or accomplishments. It just has always something fresh, beautiful, and positive and possible now. And you can have it. So, what do you want? And you've got areas, you've got financially. What do you want? Emotionally, what do you want? Your love life, what do you want? Your health, what do you want? And then when you can know this, and I like to put these things in writing, and so that my eyes can see them, and then I can stay focused on them. And I call these goals. And I have some very exciting goals. And this isn't about me, this is about you, but I wanted you to know I sing. And I like to sing. And I like cowboy music, so I sing cowboy songs. And I sang at a place in La Jolla that's called a cabaret, and people got up and sang. There was a live pianist, and you gave him your music, and then you sang. And I got better at it until I could do a showcase, which is like 5 songs on these Monday nights when they meet. And that was fun. And then I sang at a couple of church events. And then I was at a restaurant, and they have music there. It's called Hennessy's Tavern in La Jolla. And there was music. And I said to my lovely wife, who loves me passionately, I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed. And I said, you know, I'd like to sing here at Hennessy's. And that was the first time I said it. That was the first time I really thought about it. And it was the first time I put it into words. What do you want? And she said, well, you'd have to get a lot better than you are now to be here. And I said, well, thank you very much. That's just what I needed to hear. That just gave me the energy to go, aha, here I come. So, with the guy that played the piano and did the showcases and everything, we got together, and I went to, now, this is how powerful this is. And this, I'm sorry that I have to tell you it's about me, but it's not, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about you. But I wanted to be at Hennessy's. I wanted to do a show. And I have, you know, I've got 4 hours of music, easy. So, and not repeating anything. I know more like 80 songs, and they're all funny and real cute. And so I got in touch with the person, I spoke in person to the woman at the La Jolla Open Air Market. And she said, send me a recording. Well, I sent her a recording, but she didn't get it. And so then I spoke to her the next week, because it's every Sunday morning, and she said, I didn't get the recording, send it again. And so then I called her during the week, and she said, it just isn't coming through. Just come and sing next Sunday. So she hired me and my pianist, sight unheard. She didn't know anything about it. She just liked me, and she needed somebody for that Sunday. And so because I had asked Spirit for this result, the door opened, and I'm so grateful. So I did that show, and then she asked me to come back for another one. And then I went to Hennessy's, and I said, I'm just sang at the farmers' open air market. And they said, oh, well, if you're there, you can come and sing here. So I looked
Yeah.
so I get to come here. So sure enough, last Friday night was my 6th show at Hennessy's. And what happens is all of these really lovely friends of ours come, and they eat and drink and tip and fill up the room, and it's just a lot of fun, and they like the songs and they like me, and so it's just very cute, because I put that in motion and then it happened. So if you'll be clear about what you want, Spirit will put it in high gear to bring it to you, and it's what you want now. And so while you're watching TV, while you're doing your meditation, while you're out and about, be on the lookout for a clue that's going to say, you could do this, you could look like this, you could be this, have this level of health, you could be in this level of productivity. So just asking and defining what you want is really a very important key. Another point that Teachings of the Inner Christ stresses is that you can heal yourself and experience wholeness. And healing yourself comes from studying and paying attention and moving. You have to move. And walking is really good for you. Getting on the floor and getting up may be scary or a real chore. But the more you do that, if you just did that a few times every day at random, you'd be surprised. If you can hold onto the wall or a banister or a table or something to get up and down, but getting up and down, that's so good for you. It strengthens all your ligaments and muscles. It increases your bone density. It increases your esteem about yourself. It provides safety for you in case you should ever fall over or somebody should knock you over. And it stimulates blood circulation, air in your lungs, and power in your brain. And I just realized that the reason that I sing is because when you sing, it activates every part of your brain. You have to know the words and the rhythm and the harmony and the beat and the rhyme and pay attention. And so that the reason that I sing is it's a gift to my brain, and I have a lot of fun doing it too. Heal yourself. The next thing is you can expand your inner sensing, and by listening to Spirit, you can be informed of ideas and possibilities that otherwise can't reach you because you're not sensitive to them. You're not sensing the possibilities. And a way to do this is to say, God, here it is. I'm going here. I've got this to do, or I'm staying home today. Help me sense a feeling that I know that you love me. Help me even sense that greater. And then help me know that you're trying to tell me what's next for me, and that you'll be there while I accomplish it. So I'm sensitive to instruction, intuition, and guidance. Another thing that you do is you develop your self-authority. You have the authority over yourself. Life does not have authority over you. Your body does not have authority over you. Your income does not have authority over you. And if anybody says these dirty words, I'm on a fixed income, that's bad.
Okay.
Don't do that. You are not on a fixed income. You are on an unlimited income. And it's coming in all the time. Just think right now, you're with people that you love and they love you. You're gathering knowledge. I love you too. And this is a abundant place and time. Every time you come here, you are fed and you feed, and somebody just driving by might feel so inclined to park and come in here and see what's going on and feel the love. So every time you come, you create that possibility. So keep coming. And as you support this ministry with your gifts and tithes and offerings and money, then that keeps it going. And as you cast your bread upon the water, it can come back to you, heaped up, pressed down, running over. But while it's out there, it gets bigger. And so there's more for you the more you share. And I'm sorry, this is one of those management things. If you hate something or somebody and you send that out, it festers, it does its damage, and then it returns bigger than you sent it out. And so you want to be real careful. And develop your self-authority, own your spirituality. Then you want to open yourself to love. This is one of the principles of the teaching of the inner Christ. And be love in action. Okay, one of the things, I think this might be really helpful. I observed somebody doing something that I didn't like. And now Virginia and I share everything. She is my rock, and I love her, and she loves me, and she's really helpful. And once I figured out she was on my side, when she said things like I'm about to tell you, I didn't get mad at her anymore. But at first I had something. She said, "You're upset with this person because they have done this. There's no arguing that they did it or didn't do it. They did it. The problem is not that they did what they did, but your problem, Arthur, is with your expectations. You expected them to reciprocate. You expected them to say, 'You're welcome.' You expected them to say, 'Oh, that's okay, I'll get it this time.'" So I said, "So what do I do?" She said, "Readjust your expectations." So one of the things I think that can really help us with our expectations is love. Because love goes where angels fear to tread. Love softens the shadows. Love lights the way. Love finds the impossible. And so when you're watching the news, that's your time to make love to your television. And when you see somebody that you don't like, they may not even speak English. When you see somebody that you don't like, the reason that they're so mean and diabolical is because they don't got no love. Nobody loves them, and they don't feel any love. And they feel power, and they can do with what they want from the position of power they're in. But they're not listening to the Christ within. And if enough people sent enough love to that kind of person, that love doesn't bounce off, it penetrates. It doesn't go around, it goes through. It doesn't wait, it starts. And magical, miracle things can happen just by giving love. So, you know who to give love to the living, okay? Love your enemies. Love the people you don't understand. Love the people with tattoos. I don't know
Yeah.
about you, but
Yeah.
love them. And if they're a mean, bad person, you just need to love the hell out of them. And it'll out of them. Love. And then there's the people that have done you wrong. And I hope the list is very short, but it's probably not. They need love. And they may be dead and buried or cremated, whatever. But they need love. They need your love. They don't need your love. You need to love them so that you get over it. And the things that went wrong in your life, love them. The things that you're waiting for, love them. And so then you would want to, one of the questions you'd want to ask besides what do I want is, how do I show love? And you can send a gift or flowers or cookies. You can do something nice for somebody, or you can just, and cookies or doing something nice would be a result that would be generated by a feeling. So you don't have to do the cookies or the flowers, just generate the feeling and give love to each other. So the things that we've talked about are they've moved the light. And then we need to you can make conscious contact with your divine nature, and you do that. You can discover and fulfill your heart's of the Father desire. What do you want? And you can heal yourself and experience wholeness. You can expand your inner sensing and listen and receive. And you can develop self-authority, be your own spiritual guide. And you can open yourself to love and be love in action that helps you adjust and create new and better expectations. With these thoughts in mind, let's bow our heads for a moment. And Father, we give thanks for this time together. We give thanks for this, our spiritual home. We give thanks that you created this essence of spirit within us. We give thanks that it's equal in all of us. We ask that it be revealed, that others discover it as we have, and we are thankful that we're among those who have discovered this Christ presence within. We give thanks for it. It is our soul, our heart, our love, our spirit. And for that special gift, Father, with all our being, we say thank you. Amen.
Wow.
That was a wow.
Well, thank you.